everyone, it's Leo and I'm back to talk more about Sailor Moon Eternal. In this video, I want to talk about one of the magical girl aspects of Sailor Moon Eternal, which for me are super important in most magical girls, which are the transformations and the attacks. For the most part, Sailor Moon Eternal gives their characters bank transformations and the attacks with stock footage animation, and I really want to talk about them. So let's start. But before we start, just a disclaimer. If you haven't watched the movies, I'm going to talk about the attacks that they perform in the movies, and there might be some spoilers here and there. There are going to be lots of images of those attacks here, so if you want to be surprised, this might not be the video for you. Go watch the movies first and then come back after you've finished. So let's go by order of sailors, and let's start with our main characters, Super Sailor Moon and by consequent, Super Sailor Chibi Moon, because, well, they have a double transformation and a double attack. The double transformation of Super Sailor Moon and Super Sailor Chibi Moon was the first one we saw in an Usagi birthday event, and it's a very controversial transformation. I remember it was criticized heavily by a lot of fans, but I personally like it. There is one aspect of Eternal that I really like, which is the colorization. I really love how they work with colors and backgrounds, and I love like that dark background in their transformation, and I love how they work with the colors of their bodies while they're transforming. It feels very magical, and I really liked it. It's a very simple transformation. There isn't a big focus on the animation, I can see that, but I still think it's very pretty. And there's another thing about Crystal/Eternal that I love. When they transform, when they do their poses, we have those flowers on the corner of the screen. They look so pretty. I really like that. Until we have their speech are like, it's also very nice. The backgrounds, I really enjoy it. So the transformation is great. The attack, Moon Gorgeous Meditation, is, or at least was in Sailor Moon Supers, a very beautiful attack, even though it was a Sailor Moon solo attack. This time it's a double attack. Sailor Moon and Sailor Chibi Moon performed this attack together. Even though we have scenes in which Sailor Moon performs it by herself, Chibi Moon tries to perform it by herself too in a point. But this is an attack I didn't really enjoy that much. I'm not someone who understands deeply about animation, but something feels off about the animation of these attacks. It feels like there is something missing there. It doesn't flow very well. And it's weird because if you compare this attack to other attacks in the movie, it just, it's very lackluster compared to the others. And this is the attack that is performed the most times. It's repeated. And most of the other attacks are not repeated, not even once. So I really don't understand why they didn't put a lot of more focus on this. So this is an attack I didn't like. And I wish that we would have seen it in an animation outside of the stock footage after they used it for the first time. But we keep on seeing the same stock footage in different scenes. And I wish we had a scene outside of stock footage for this attack. It's a lost opportunity. Now let's jump onto Super Sailor Mercury, one of my favorites. She is one of my favorite sailors, so I was very happy with her representation in this movie. Visually, it was stunning. So we first have her transformation. Her transformation is gorgeous. Oh my god, what a beautiful transformation. And there is one special scene which I love, which is that little jump that she does before doing her final pose. It looks so cute. Oh my god, her transformation is so adorable. I love Sailor Mercury. Super Sailor Mercury looks gorgeous. I love it. Her phrase as well looked super nice. And let's talk about her attack. Let's talk about the Inner's attack in general. We have the same attacks that were used in Sailor Moon Supers in the 90s. So we have more or less the same dynamic. Them reaching out their hands with the symbol of their planets, gathering the power, and then the animation of the attack in a black background. The idea of the black background doesn't really please me. Since the 90s, it come on, give us something more magical. And they kept it here, unfortunately. But I had a very big problem with Mercury's attack in the 90s because it was so boring. It was just her playing the harp, like in a static pose, just playing. It was beautiful, but it needed more. And Eternal gave us a totally new, revamped animation for her attack. I love it to death. Like, girl, this is so amazing. So we have Mercury, Aqua, Rapsody, which is her attack, and they really got the inspiration from the manga for her attack. In the 90s, she used like a big harp, which is very pretty too, but in the manga, she has a small harp. So they used that harp in Eternal. It's a small one, and it's very nice because she spins around and then she plays the harp a little bit, and then she puts her hand up, and that's when the big tub of water comes in, and it was super, super cool. Her attack looks gorgeous, one of my favorites. I was super happy to see Mercury with this revamped animation. Girl, I loved it so much. And there is one special thing about the inners, which is the moment they gain their attacks. I talked a little bit about that in my Eternal video. If you'd like to check it out, it's going to be on the description box. And that moment was very special. The sailors talking to their little guardians. I really loved that. And Mercury's moment when she splashes out of water. God, what a legendary moment in the Sailor Moon franchise. I love that so much. Now let's talk about Super Sailor Mars. Her transformation is everything. Her connection with Phobos and Deimos, I was expecting that. I was waiting for that for so long. I loved that moment in the manga. I love that moment in the movie. And her transformation is everything. I really, really like it. It's very pretty and it's like full of passion and it's very fiery, just like her. Love it. I also love her phrase after the transformation. It looks gorgeous. And now let's talk about her attack. Before we talk about her attack, there is a beautiful scene of Super Sailor Mars getting all burned up. We need to talk about that scene because it's stunning. Stunning, stunning, stunning. And we see the fire, we see the red background. Girl, that scene is everything that I needed in my life and I didn't know I needed and wanted and longed for. It gave me life, it gave me passion. And after that, we see her getting the arrow. And then the attack starts. Look. Mars Flame Sniper in the 90s was a very fast attack. She attacked very fast. This time around, I can't share how much I love this. Like, okay, let's get Magical Girl genre as a whole. What are the best attacks you've ever seen in a Magical Girl anime? I'm sorry, if Mars Flame Sniper from Sailor Moon Eternal is not on your list is wrong. Like, this is top-notch Magical Girl animation. It's one of the best things I have ever seen in my whole life. This attack, it does not exist. It just does not exist. It's out of this world. Mars, girl, what? I don't even know what to say, honestly. I don't know why. I don't know how to translate how much I love this attack to words. I just don't know. I don't know. I can't. And I just can't. Girl, what an attack. The way she pulls the string of the bow and the arrow just comes out and the fire, like you see the fire going out. It's insane. Insane. Oh my god. Now let's talk about Super Sailor Jupiter. Super Sailor Jupiter was another cute moment of her with her little spirit. I love the slap on the face. Girl, I love that. And the spirit with one leg up when she's talking to Mako-chan. Girl, that's awesome. Her transformation is more on the simpler side if we compare it to the other inners. But I still like it a lot. It's very cute. And I remember when I saw the preview images for the movie, we had one shot of her and I thought, oh my god, her hair looks so boring after she becomes Sailor Jupiter. And if you look at still images like that, it just really looks like that. But when you see it in animation, it flows so well and it works perfectly. So yes, Sailor Jupiter's transformation, very, very cool. I really like her pose. I really like her speech, her phrase, very, very nice. Her attack, look, we still have the reflections from the 90s. They used more or less the same animations. In Jupiter's case, they used the same animations. Jupiter Oak Evolution is probably the worst attack from Sailor Jupiter, in my opinion, in the 90s. It's super boring. And I was wishing that they did something different with hers, just like they did with Mercury. But they didn't. They basically kept more or less the same thing. And there is one weird thing about Jupiter's attack, which is she starts the attack, and then we have a scene of Hawk's Eye, and then the attack continues. It doesn't happen with any other character. It just happens with her. And she repeats the attack in the second movie. But when she does, it's not the full version of the attack. So we never get to see the full version of Jupiter Oak Evolution in Eternal in one shot. It's very, very weird. I still think that at least it's better than what it was in Sailor Moon Supers. Like, there is a little punch to the animation when she gets her hands up. And there's also the crown, the leaf crown, which was a moment that I was waiting to see, and we got to see it. I love when Super Sailor Jupiter transforms and she gets the power with the green background. It looks so pretty. Really, really love it. Now let's go to Super Sailor Venus, which is my favorite transformation from Sailor Moon Eternal. Probably my favorite transformation of Sailor Moon overall. I loved the transformation. I love this ice skating reference they make, and also the ribbons and the stars. It looks so, so, so good, and it looks so Sailor Venus. I just find it very, very pretty and gracious and so well done. I really love it. It's probably my favorite Sailor Moon transformation ever. Ever, ever, ever. It's the Super Sailor Venus transformation from Eternal. Girl, I love that. And Venus, she has a different awakening than the other girls. We have a relationship with Artemis, which was great. And her attack is also more or less the same attack from the 90s, but now they are using the manga version of the attack, which is a flower chain. And they still use the heart that she uses in the 90s, and now they use like the heart to summon the attack, and then the flower chains to bloom after the hearts. I really like the idea, and I really like the reference to the 90s, but at the same time to the manga. And I love the flower chain. Like, it looks super, super cool. And I love the final pose she makes, and the camera goes out a little, and then we see all the flowers blooming. It is a very nice touch. I really liked it. And there is something interesting about Super Sailor Venus, is that after she defeats one of the Xenotime and Zeolites, I don't know which of them are which, she defeats one of them with the stock footage, and then she defeats the other with no stock footage, just the chain. It looked super, super cool. I really loved that touch that they did. You know, I wish we had more of that, but it looked super cool with Super Sailor Venus. So her attack was another hit for me. I really, really love it. So basically, concerning the inners, loved their attacks, all of them, except maybe Jupiter. It could have been better. It could have been better, but I still liked it. You know, it's not something that I don't like. Now let's talk about the outers. Girl, I was waiting for this moment. So in the outers case, we have the 4 outers transforming. They transform together. Their transformations are all very pretty. And there is one thing about the outers transformation that I really love, which is their backgrounds. After they transform, we see their planets in the back. It looks so good. Really, really good. And it's nice that they transform together. Their transformations kind of match with each other. Very nice. And let's go by order again. I think it's easier. Let's start with Super Sailor Uranus. Super Sailor Uranus' transformation is very pretty too. I like it. I've always found her final pose a little strange, but it's also nice that like she is not someone who's very feminine, but she does a very feminine pose in her transformation. I really like that touch, and it looks very cool. Everything concerning her transformation looks cool. And her attack, we see two attacks from Uranus. We see World Shaking first and Space Word Blaster second. Let's start with World Shaking. Remember when I talked about Supersailor Mars's attack? Everything I said about Supersailor Mars's attack, you can apply to World Shaking in Supersailor Uranus's attack. Look, this is probably the best attack I have ever seen in my life. I've seen my share of magical girls. There's nothing like World Shaking from Eternal. There is nothing like World Shaking from Eternal. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Wow. It's just mind-blowing how pretty it is, and there are so many effects on it, and like, oh my god. I don't even know what to say. Honestly, I really, really loved World Shaking. Looked super cool. What a moment to be alive. What a moment to be alive. There's nothing else to say. Space Word Blaster also looks very cool. One thing I really love about Space Word Blaster is the color of the backgrounds. It's very similar to Sailor Moon Crystal Season 3. Not that many big differences. I really, really love it. And the way that green in the background, it meshes so well with Uranus's colors and the attack's colors as well. Like, it's a big contrast. I really, really enjoy it. They did a very good job with it in Eternal 2. Now let's jump on to Super Sailor Neptune. Neptune is a strange case. Her transformation is super, super beautiful. I really love it. The colors of her background, girl, what? I love it so much. And then we come to her attacks. She also has two. She has Deep Submerge and Submarine Reflection. Deep Submerge is basically the same animation as the 90s, as all the other Outers attacks too. But there is something very weird about Deep Submerge in Eternal. So basically she puts her hands up, and then she puts one of her hands in front of her, and the attack goes first and then her hand goes last. It's basically the same transformation from the 90s, but in Eternal, there is something very weird about how this part of her hands in front of her was done. It looks so slow. It looks slow. I don't know how to explain. This attack does not flow well. And Deep Submerge is such a pretty attack. Like the backgrounds, the way the waves are crashing. But this ending part of the attack was so weird. It took me away from the whole attack. I didn't like it. And even though I didn't like Deep Submerge, Submarine Reflection was really something else. I really love that moment in which we have a transition from her face to her mirror, and then we see her face in the mirror. Like, wow, that was so cool. And when I was watching it for the first time, I found it very strange that when she shoots the beam from her mirror, she shoots it upwards. And so I felt like, well, this is super weird. But then when you watch the movie, you understand, like, it's part of the scene. She's destroying something that's upwards. So that's why she uses it aiming up. So Deep Submerge, but Submarine Reflection was a big hit for me. I really, really loved it. It's what Sailor Neptune deserves because she is the queen of beauty. I love her. I love everything about her, except for Deep Submerge. Now, Super Sailor Pluto. Super Sailor Pluto is probably one of the prettiest sailors. I love her design and I love her character too. Her transformation is probably my favorite out of the Outers. And there's one specific thing that I love about her, which is when the Outers are transforming, the three, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, we see their lipsticks being applied. And when the lipstick in Sailor Pluto is applied, it's the lipstick that stands out the most because of its color. Love that touch. And I also love that Pluto is now more of a garnet sailor and not a lilac sailor. It matches her better. This strong color matches her way better than any other. So I really like that they went this way. And when she transforms, the planet behind her, Pluto behind her, look, there's a big colorization and contrast in that moment. loved it so much. And in Pluto's case, we only have one attack, which is Dead Scream. And I loved Dead Scream in Eternal. It's now my favorite version of Dead Scream. Girl, what a great moment. It has Yu Yoshiyama written all over it. I love like when she picks the staff in her hand and she turns around. There are like those big lines in her hand. It looks super, super good. And I love when she turns around and the ball goes out of the staff. It's what I was expecting from Deep Submerge. Like this dynamicism that exists in Dead Scream was something that I was expecting in Deep Submerge. And I love like the Dead Scream is a very pretty attack. So we have like all those this fog around her and it's moving frenetically. I love that. I really love that. And the colors are so deep and powerful. What a moment. Now let's go to Super Sailor Saturn, one of the moments that I was expecting the most. We finally have a transformation for her. She chants a transformation phrase. God, we finally see that, and we actually see a transformation. Her transformation is way simpler than any other transformation in Sailor Moon Eternal. That's a little unfortunate, but I really like the start of her transformation in which we see her as a baby in the womb. And I think it was Sailor Moon's voice actor who said, I'm not really sure, who said it in an interview that they did this thinking of Sailor Saturn's character. And it matches so well with her and her whole story in this arc. And in the past arc too, in a way. And especially because she is this sailor of death and rebirth. It's perfect for her. Those little touches, they mean the world in Sailor Moon, in my opinion. So I really like those details. And even though her transformation is very simple, I still thought that it was super pretty. Every single shot of her transformation, I love taking screenshots when I'm watching things. So every single shot of her transformation, she looks super, 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 super pretty. And again, her final pose and her speech, girl, what a moment! I was alive to watch Sailor Saturn transforming. I am so happy. I am really, really happy. And in terms of attacks, Sailor Saturn does not have stock footage animation in her attacks, but she has two attacks in this movie. The first one is Silent Wall, and the second one is Silent Glaive Surprise. And we see both of them when she is fighting against the Amazoness Quartet and protecting Super Sailor Chibi Moon. Those moments for me are so special. I really love that circus moment. It was so well drawn. And so Silent Wall is a very simple attack, but I really love the dynamicism when she was performing it. They really gave an impact when she just does the wall. And the wall being transparent, but translucent with all the colors. It looked super, super cool than just a white wall. I really liked it. And Silent Glaive Surprise, it was nice because I really like when sailors or magical girls in general are able to perform attacks outside of the stock footage attacks. And in her case, it looked super cool. And I really enjoyed the way she just spinned around the staff and then just threw that wave of energy towards the Amazons. It was really, really cool. I was very curious to see how they were going to work with this attack in Eternal, and I really enjoyed it. She also has one that she puts her staff up and it glows and it just dispels all those little cracks of glass that were flying around, and that also looked very cool. And now, last but not least, we have the Super Sailor Moon transformation in Eternal Sailor Moon. Girl, so pretty. I dare say I'm not a big fan of Eternal Sailor Moon in terms of design, but after I saw this movie, it really sold me, the design. It's so beautiful. Tadano style just revolutionized it to me. It looked so cool. I just cannot with this. And also Therapy Kiss, which is her last attack. Oh my god. It looked so incredible. Damn it. that last moment, oh my god, it was powerful. Girl, it was powerful. I really loved it. Apart from that, we also have Moon Gorgeous Meditation being performed by Sailor Moon herself. It was cool. It took some references from Sailor Moon R in the 90s. And we also had Akuryo Taizan from Sailor Mars, from Rei actually. It was very impressive. I was not expecting like a stock footage animation just for that, and that was very cool as well. It looked super good. And I basically think that's it. If I were to choose a favorite transformation, Super Sailor Venus. And if I were to choose one favorite attack, World Shaking and Mars Flame Sniper. World Shaking number 1, Mars Flame Sniper 1.1. You know, like both of them are up there, magical girl wise. You won't find anything like that. It's out of this world. I just can't. I don't know. I don't know how to express myself without being very exaggerated, but in those two specific cases, you just can't. You just can't. It's just incredible. Incredible. Anyways, those are my views on transformation and attacks on Sailor Moon Eternal. Please share yours in the comment box and let's keep talking. So I want to take this little time to thank the members of the Magical Cinnamon channel. If you are a member, I really appreciate the support. Really appreciate that you stand by me and by my channel, Magical Cinnamon. Thank you very much. And if you watched up until now, thank you so much as well. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye bye.